Welcome to the Modern Sports Show, home of your modern sports takes. And today we are shooting part 2. Now, we had some technical difficulties last week in getting a full video done. So today we back, man. And I actually like that we was able to do this because I was able to kind of go back, take some notes, and be like, okay, I can hit them with this. So I got some different material right now. So when we ended on our first video was your recruiting trail, right? And what that looked like. So with that being said, right, what did your recruiting trail look like and how did it feel as a young high school player to be able to be in the midst of some major programs and also like shake some legendary hands, like going to see Nick Saban or going to UNC? Like how did, can speak to that?
It was definitely an experience. Even though, I didn't end up at a school like that, those are opportunities that a lot of people don't get. I did step in some rooms with some very legendary people, some very known faces. So it was interesting to kind of, really get to know those people outside of what you see on TV and on the internet and how they interact with people and how they really are behind closed doors.
Yeah.
And, no, I got nothing to say bad about any of those people. They're definitely respectable men, and I appreciate them for what they did for me. Just as far as recruiting me and taking the time out of their days to meet and talk to me. And as far as how my recruiting was, like I said, it was a bumpy road. It was definitely it wasn't how I wanted it to be, but like I said last time, everything happens for a reason, regardless of what it is in life. God has His way of leading you towards where He wants you to be.
Yeah.
And He kind of showed me my way, and my path was different than how I expected it to be. So
Right.
I just had to put faith in Him, and I'm where I'm at, and I'm happy with it.
And with that being said, who was one coach that you might have met that was like, okay, he's a real interesting person, or like maybe somebody who wasn't like you may have perceived them to be, just seeing them on TV or interviews or anything like that? Like, who was that person that just kind of like,
Scotty Walden.
Okay.
He was the head coach at Austin Peay, and now he's the head coach at
UTEP.
UTEP.
Yeah.
Coach Walden recruited me personally because he coaches quarterbacks. He calls plays at whatever school he's at, even though he's the head coach. He's the fieriest coach I've ever met. Like, he's always on 10. He's going to coach you hard. He's going to be on you, but he's going to love you. Like, and I seen that just from like being around. And obviously I know people that went there that still do attend Austin Peay, and they'll tell you he's the same way, whether recruits are around or whether they're not. He's always going to be fiery. He's going to be hard on you. But he's going to love you the same way.
No, surely. And so, just with that being said, also, what was a place, right? Not necessarily that may have been able to pull you in, right, or get you to sign. What was a city or a town or a school where you were like, man, football aside, like, I like this, a nice vibe, nice city, nice nightlife, whatever, nice campus. What was one of those schools or a couple of those schools?
I'd say Chapel Hill is definitely first.
Okay.
The University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. Just, I'm not very big into going out and partying and all that stuff, but just kind of the old timey, new modern day vibe it gives off. It definitely, I think it fits my style because it's not like very new and urban, and it just, I don't know, it just fits me as a person, if that makes sense. And I was really rocking with it, and I think Wofford definitely does too, and that played a factor into it. It's a small college town, and that's something I really wanted. I really don't have a thing for big cities.
Okay.
Because it's just so much that can happen. I mean, obviously something can still happen in a small college town, but when you on such a big campus, there's so many different distractions that you can get into, and it can down all types of different paths.
And I'm kind of the same way. Like, I know, I would say in terms of living and just carrying out my everyday life, I would rather be in like a smaller setting.
Yeah.
And but even if I was to live in a kind of bigger city, I would still want to be like in the suburbs of that city. But like I enjoy going to Atlanta and stuff like that. And then but even us living here in Birmingham, like we be in the city, out the city. So yeah, I definitely feel that. But so with us having covered that, then on the football side of things, what college might have got Eric Handley? What was like that 2 or 3, schools that might, oh man.
I'd definitely say Mercer.
Yeah.
And Austin Peay. Honestly, just to be frank, Mercer was my first choice.
Yeah.
But recruiting is it's a business.
Yeah.
Regardless of what folks tell you and how they go about things, it's a very unforgiving business, and
Okay.
if it's 2-3 guys, you don't make your decision, and that spot's going to be gone. Because scholarships are very valuable.
Right. Yeah.
They're not cheap.
Yeah.
And obviously, schools are going to want to go with the person who wants to be there the soonest.
Yeah. Yeah.
So them and Austin Peay, but like I said, everything happens for a reason. Because both of those schools are under new leadership now.
Right. Yeah, that's real too. That's real. My cousin Sean, he Sean.
Yeah.
He was getting recruited by Austin Peay, and that was actually one of his biggest offers. And then, just to all the young guys out there, this recruiting game is very, very, it's wishy-washy. And that I think that was somewhere he was really leaning to. And then obviously with the regime change and stuff, you know how it go. You know how it go. So not to belittle anybody or throw anybody under the bus, but just for the young guys, recruiting is tricky, but it's build valuable, build great relationships. That would be my main advice. And so this is a very interesting question that I kind of comprised. But what do Eric look forward to in going to college? Like, what you look for? What you gonna be doing?
Really, just a fresh start, an opportunity to prove myself at the next level, and just be around, more people who are like-minded, who have the same goals as me, and just have an opportunity to elevate myself as both a person and a football player. That played a big role in me choosing Wofford, where I chose. Just the people there.
Okay.
I feel like their goal is to really help develop me as a man. The protocols they have in place to make sure I'm successful on and off the field, it really does make me feel like they're doing everything they can to help elevate me as a grown man and a football player. So that's really my biggest thing.
Do you have like a good relationship and rapport with your receivers and your offensive line at this point? Maybe some guys coming in with you?
I definitely the guys that are coming in with me. We have a group chat. We talk almost every day.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna room with one of our incoming center.
Okay.
When I get to school, so
okay.
I definitely have tried and am still trying my best to build a relationship with all those guys, because I know they need me just as much as I need them, and I'm gonna need them. We're all gonna depend on each other. So having that relationship early and building it is definitely a key.
Who do you look forward to? And this is just, maybe give a guy or two a shout out, right? Who do you look forward to throwing to the most? Like man, I can't wait to me and this receiver here, or me and this running back, or.
My boy Ivory.
Okay.
Ivory, he from Miami, New Orleans.
Okay.
And Miami, Florida. He signed us in the early signing period. He's a true 4-3.
Yeah, dog. Yeah.
He
a slider outside guy.
Slide.
Okay.
He can fly. So Ivory just doing everything I can to get him ball in space, watch him make plays, and then probably my guy Isaiah. He also from Miami, New Orleans. He play outside receiver. He committed to us right now. I know he's gonna sign in February though.
Okay.
So those two guys out of Miami, they probably the two I've talked to the most that are committed to us right now. Receiver. I actually play the game with Isaiah sometimes. So
yeah,
those two guys.
Okay, man, that's big. And I'll actually have to go look them up, see what they could do. You say true 4-3. Okay. But how do you feel like, your game translates to the next level with you, especially you say you got a couple guys you can't wait to, get the ball to. But how does Eric's game translate to the next level?
I feel like it translates well for the situation I'm going to be put in. Okay. The offense we're going to run is a very true pro style West Coast offense. With a lot of NFL ties to it, a lot of kind of Shanahan schemes. So the stuff we do, a lot of motion, a lot of under center, which is what I'm comfortable doing. Obviously, I'm not a triple threat. Well, a triple option, read option quarterback. So just the situations I'm going to be put in is more so relying on my talent and my IQ, which is where my game excels at. So I think I definitely have the opportunity to be successful as long as I go out there and do my job.
Yeah, that's and we know, especially right, like with your arm talent and with you saying that and having an understanding of where your coach wants to go with the offense. I know I could see you being successful in a system like that, dropping back, passing the ball, and hitting receivers across the middle. I can definitely see that. So with that being said, like how familiar right now with the playbook are you?
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah, I know.
It's definitely a lot of information, but I'm gradually, learning more and more as I go. We actually got this thing, quarterback manual, like 168 pages.
Yeah.
So before we even get into the plays, we got to go through the manual and just learn the rules and the whys and why nots, what we do at the quarterback position and why we do it, why we don't do certain things. So it's a learning curve right now. It's definitely a learning process, and that's a lot of the reason I wanted to enroll early.
Right.
Is to to get ahead of the curve, to be able to get a spring under my belt, practices before obviously, instead of just jumping straight in the fall camp, getting thrown in the fire. So it's definitely different than high school, but that's to be expected. So it's how much you want it, how much you want to learn it, how much time you spend studying.
Right.
So
for you, so me personally, right, when I got to Kentucky, that was like my first time really being in a position room, you know what I'm saying, where it's like, okay, because I was in prep ball at one point, and then that's kind of like a JUCO free fall. It's not as structured. And then went a few years, dealing with injury and whatnot. But then when I was able to get to Kentucky, I'm in there, okay, it's like, all right, we on this board every day. We going through all this different terminology. This is this is that, this is this. And so for me, I would contort that it was almost like me jumping from high school to, Division I ball. And so that was a very challenging transition for me. And I really didn't start, I feel like, catching on though, because I got there like right before fall camp. And so when I got in the room, it's like, hey, we done going through the spring stuff, we done going through the summer. We not coming back to help you. You're gonna have to catch up. And so I didn't really start understanding it and getting a better idea for it until probably last spring, 2023 spring. And so with that being said, do you feel like, is that kind of like the learning curve? Is that intimidating to you, or how do you plan on tackling
that? necessarily intimidating. Like I said, it's all about how you approach it.
Okay.
It's definitely a task that can be intimidating to some,
Right.
but when you've been around football so long and you still want to learn, like you have a want to learn, to grow your knowledge of the game, it's not intimidating. It's like it brings out the competitor in me. Like, okay, they have a head start on me, but I want to be better than them so bad that I'm gonna push myself to the limits to learn this, so I can get ahead of the curve.
Right.
It's just all about how you approach the task at hand.
And how does that, your pedigree in football, how do you feel like that benefits you?
It helps, definitely. It kind of, I feel like my football pedigree kind of reflects the way that I try to live life.
Okay.
Obviously, just like football, you face adversity in life. Things get hard, and football is a life game. It's not just a sport. It teaches you so many life lessons that you'll never forget, and it definitely reflects the way I live life, because I'm a competitor. Obviously, I want to be the best at everything I do, no matter what it is. If I'm a janitor, I'm gonna sweep the floor better than every janitor in the world. It's just how I am. Like Jalen Hurts said, I hate losing more than I love winning.
Right.
Like, no matter what I'm doing, I hate losing. And I think the way I work and the way I carry myself definitely reflects that.
No, man, no doubt. And that's actually funny because so I've had an opportunity to meet Jalen Hurts. And so I kind of me and him, we had a candid conversation. And so the very first time I met you, though, I was like, I don't know why this cat remind me of Jalen Hurts. Like your temperament and the way you talk and everything is just alike. But with that being said, just kind of, I don't want to say in closing, because if we in the natural ebbs and flows of the conversation, if I find a question I'm gonna ask. But I do want to ask you, what advice would you give to a young athlete who's aspiring to be in the position that you're in right now?
One thing that a lot of kids and a lot of parents don't invest to, it's not just children, it's outside training. Now, obviously, there are some who aren't fortunate enough to do it, but it's a necessity, it's a need if you have children or you yourself aspire to play Division I football, because at the end of the day, with how recruiting and stuff is now, just talent isn't going to get you where you want to go.
Right.
It can only take you so far, and just you got to be ahead of the curve to get scholarships now. Obviously, with the transfer portal, and every school only gets so many scholarships.
Right.
People playing 6 years of college football, one person playing 9.
Yeah.
It's people stick around for so long that if you're not ready to play once you get there, it's going to be really hard to get a scholarship. The days of sitting around and having 2-3 years to develop a kid once they get to school is not a thing anymore.
Yeah, you make a good point. His daddy said that this morning on Facebook.
We've had
talked about it. Yeah.
About it, that was a big thing for me growing up, and that's the reason I work with so many different guys who all focus on different things, and it's just stuff that it's really hard to get from anywhere else, and I wouldn't be where I am without the development from those guys.
Yeah, man, no doubt. So I will say this, and it kind of, I guess, it may disrupt, the conversation in a sense, right? But I was able to talk to a couple of people, okay? And I'm gonna tell you who said it. I'm gonna tell you what they said, but I want to get your reflection on it, okay? So Morland Smith says, selfless person, understands the position he's in, could date his daughter, very responsible, right? And your father said, unselfish, everything you could imagine and want in a young man, cares for others. He's a nurturer. He's beyond a leader, has God's favor. You and your mom share a lot of similarities in the way that you think, right? And you love cheese pizza. Okay. So, with that being said, what are your thoughts on their assessment of who Eric is as a person?
It's greatly appreciated, and I definitely try to do everything I can to reflect myself in those manners that they spoke of, and I definitely do see the similarities that they talk about, but I try not to think about it because I want it to be a natural thing. I don't want to have to try to be selfless or try to be a leader or try to be a nurturer. People pour so much into me, and I've been around so much of those things that I just try to consume all of it and just let it naturally, like me, pour it back into the people that I'm around. So I definitely can't take credit for any of that. It definitely comes from the great men and women I've been around who poured into me. Even you, your mom, your brother, everybody, they played a part into it, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. I think that these qualities and attributes, they're very synonymous with the quarterback position too. And of course, being under the center, you gotta have a lot of leadership. You lead men. Gotta be a nurturer. You got a receiver who's not getting the ball. You kind of gotta, hey, I got you. So, man, I think that honestly, Eric, you have a great opportunity ahead of you, man. We know that you're gonna go and destroy it, man. I can't wait to be in Spartanburg this upcoming between Starkville and Spartanburg, right? I can't wait. And even wherever my little cousin Sean go, like I can't wait, man. I can't wait. So we wish you the best of luck, bro. We appreciate you for coming on the show. For my audience, like, comment, subscribe, share this video around, man. Continue to help us grow this platform and give me some suggestions. What other young athletes might you want to see on the Modest Sports Show? Like, if we can get in contact, then hey, we can get them on the show, man. So, but just like that, we out.